We are joined by head coach Ed Service, Ethan DeCaster, Matt Warren, and Ryan Fitzgerald. Coach, if you'd begin with an opening statement.
Well, it was a good game, a very competitive game. We kind of slipped a little bit in that one inning, gave them a couple opportunities, but I give our guys a lot of credit to come back against that left-hander that pitched, that came in relief. He kind of tied us up when we were at Seton Hall, so it was good to see us get an opportunity against him again. So real pleased. It's important to play well in the first game. It's important to win the first game. And in about 5 minutes, we're looking forward to preparation for tomorrow night.
Open the floor for questions. Piv?
Ryan, take us through that at-bat there in the seventh, and just the whole rally. I mean,
yeah,
obviously kind of an.
I just happened to be the guy that got the hit. There's 3 great at-bats before me that started the bases. I just happened to be the one to get a hit and just try to put the barrel on it, and good things happen.
Did you know it had a chance to get over his head when you hit it, or?
Not initially, but when I saw him turn his back, then I knew that we were going to score some runs.
Matt?
To Matt and Ethan, I guess. Coaches talk about kind of having a bulldog mentality on the mound when things necessarily aren't going right or you have to recover. It seems like all 4 of you, Connor and David, had to deal with that tonight a little bit. I guess, can you talk a little bit about it and what it took to kind of recover once things weren't kind of going well?
I guess a team like Seton Hall, they're very aggressive-minded. They really feed off momentum, and I think the biggest thing is when a situation got a little tough was to try and do anything you could to shut that momentum down before they got rolling. I know we talk about that a lot every time we play these guys. Very hard-nosed team, and they'll keep coming after you if you back off even the slightest bit. So I guess that was just the biggest thing, just everybody trying to stay as aggressive as possible and trying to keep them on their heels instead of us on ours.
Yeah, and you just got to have confidence in yourself. Just make pitches, and we got a great defense behind us, and the hitters did a really good job today of just getting the momentum on our side and made it easy when we got behind or didn't pitch as well as we could have.
Ethan, could you talk a little bit about your mindset when you come into that game? You guys ran out away from getting out of that inning, tied. All of a sudden, it's 4-2. What's going through your mind?
Throughout the season, we've had little speed bumps where, some pitchers didn't have their best stuff and whatnot, and, you just got to keep working and keep grinding, and, like our hitters came back there at the end and gave us a nice little boost there and got the confidence back on our side, momentum, and, it made it easy there at the end. Just make your pitches and just have confidence in yourself, and, it should work its way out.
Matt?
Yesterday in the press conference, the coaches kind of downplayed the kind of budding rivalry between the Jays and the Pirates. I guess from a player's perspective, when you guys are going back and forth like that, the momentum is switching, what does it feel like for you?
Well, that's baseball. It goes back and forth, but I don't know that there's such a bad rivalry between us. We're just 2 teams that like to compete, and we want to win.
Up in front here.
Matt, in the second and third time around the batting order, did you notice anything different as far as adjustments with Seton Hall? You seem to kind of labor a little more than later.
Yeah, I think it stemmed back to our series, what was that, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think they were kind of starting to realize what we were trying to do a little better, so it definitely required a little more focus, trying to make better pitches. I know at times let a few get up, a couple hard hit balls, but I think they did a better job of adjusting and just really kind of sticking to their game plan, and I think just trying to get me to make a mistake here and there, and yeah, I left a few balls up, and that's when you see them get a little momentum going, and it was big that we held them to 4 there to give our offense a chance to come back in the late innings.
Piv?
Ryan, what was when you came in between innings there after losing the lead, what's kind of the atmosphere in the dugout?
We try to separate, what happens in the field from what we're doing at the plate, and we want to score runs whether we're up or down. We still want to score.
Ryan, you've now had 4 doubles and 6 RBIs in the
4 games you played against the Pirates this season. Is it fair enough to call you a pirate killer?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't want the season to end like it did last year, and we're out there battling. We don't want to lose.
All right, are there any other questions for the student athletes?
Can you just talk about tomorrow and how big that is and how big it sets up the rest of the tournament?
I guess I'll take this one. It's going to be a similar kind of game today. They're, once again, St. John's, another very competitive team. As we saw in our series, if we play even the slightest bit flat, they'll jump on you. So I think we just need to come out of the gates hot tomorrow. Just make sure we don't back down and just stay after these guys. It should be a good one.
Ethan or Ryan, anything to add?
I just think we need to come with the same approach as we did today. Just kind of that warrior mentality, and don't back down even if you are losing.
All right, I'd like to thank the student athletes for joining us and let them get back to the locker room to change. Coach, if you'd stay just a moment for any additional questions.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
I'll take questions for Coach Service, Piv.
And what's kind of your mindset after you come so close to getting out of the 7th and all of a sudden finding yourself down 4-2?
Yeah, we've had a lot of scenarios like that. And I think what helped our club tonight was the fact that we played a lot of close games this year. We've played a very competitive schedule. So one thing I did not see in the dugout after that inning was panic or disappointment, because they've been through that a lot. So I think as I look back now, you wonder sometimes when you put a schedule together, was it too competitive? Did you stretch your team too much? And I think tonight, coming back in that scenario, we had been in that scenario a lot. And early in the season, sometimes when you have a game like that slips away a little bit, you see a little panic in the dugout. There wasn't that for a moment. These guys knew, hey, we still got 9 outs to go. Let's see if we get back in it.
Tim?
Coach, early on, you brought the infield in very early. Was that just more tournament baseball, or did you just know that with Seton Hall, it's always a one-run game and every run's so
Well,
precious?
I factored the hitter in, too. That was Derek Jenkins now. And if you know anything about Derek Jenkins, he's a slap hitter. He gets down on the ball. He hits a lot of ground balls. I didn't feel like there was a gamble on our part to bring him in. If he was more of a traditional hitter, maybe that's Annunziata, we're playing deeper. So it really had less to do with the score. It had more to do with the hitter. And I felt he was going to hit a ground ball. That's what he did. Fitz made a nice play. We rarely bring our infield in that early, but sometimes you have to factor in all these other scenarios. So you got the hitter, you got the runner, and then you're right, you got tournament baseball, which is usually like you saw in the first game, 2-1 deal there. The team won the game by an error by the opposition. So I thought it had more to do with who was up than anything else.
We'll take 3 more questions, starting with Piv.
Ed, talk a little bit about tomorrow, and obviously you're going to be facing a pretty good pitcher in McCormick.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, there's no getting around it. This guy, he had us last time. We got a pretty good guy going, too, that had them last time. So we're going to have a real interesting situation. I'm really anxious to do a lot of, preparation tonight and tomorrow morning as to what we can do differently against him that we did not do the first time. And then we got to count on Raleigh to keep the score down. I don't think it's going to be a 7-4 game tomorrow night. That's just a kind of a way out there prediction. But I think it's going to be a little different kind of game tomorrow. And the good thing is they had to go to their bullpen and use a couple guys. So the strength of their team a lot of times has been the back end of their pitching staff. So Georgetown got into that bullpen early. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow night.
Matt?
If we could just go back to Warren a little bit, he kind of scuffled there towards the end of his outing, but, in your meetings with the mound, and what was his mentality like, knowing that he kind of had to battle out of it to keep the bullpen a little fresher and get into the game a
He
little
actually
bit?
did a pretty good job tonight. If you really look at that game, they scored 2 runs in the middle part of that game on a ground ball base hit. We're Division I baseball players. You don't give up 2 runs on a ground ball base hit. We've got to do a couple other things different in that inning, and I'll leave it at that. but he actually did a really good job. And it's as much as we stretched him out since, well, all year. He's not thrown 100 pitches all year. I believe tonight it was either 102 or 103. I was very pleased how he got into the game. He was very poised. He gave us what we needed. But he can't make plays behind him. And we let him down a little bit there in that one inning. And he deserved a little better than what he got tonight.
We'll take one final question. John?
Coach, how excited are you to see Riley Lacy handle this stage tomorrow night?
This is going to be interesting, you know. I think, you know, again, you'd like to think he's ready for it. He's been in a lot of situations now. He's pitched a lot of Friday night games. We all know how important Friday night's games are in conference play. Let me just say this, how important the crowd was tonight. I really felt the crowd made a huge difference in this game. And that's why you want to host, because you want your crowd to get behind you. And we've had big crowds here before. This isn't the first time. But this crowd was different. It felt like it was more than 4,800 people out there. And I hope that crowd gets behind the team again tomorrow night. We have a lot of confidence in Raleigh. He'll take a deep breath. And we've been in so many of these games. I just don't think these guys can be phased anymore. And that's why you put a schedule together the way you put together. I mean, you know, the Arkansas games and the Nebraska games that we played in this year were very, very intense. So we've been in this intense environment before, and I believe Raleigh will do just fine.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Okay,
The
guys.
Blue Jays will play St. John's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We'll have Seton Hall next.